There are so many bewildering, scary, and downright un-American topics to discuss from this week. It's actually hard to know where to begin. But we wanted to kick off our show tonight with by far the most important message from our current political landscape. It's okay to have voted for Donald Trump. It's okay to be a conservative. You need to hear that. You need to hear that now more than ever. Because as a conservative, you are part of a moral and honorable movement. You have nothing to be ashamed of. The people manipulating a moment in time to slander you or your worldview or your movement are liars. And we can prove it with science. Go ahead and watch. First off, conservatives want prosperity, border security, and fair elections. We want law and order. If you love your country, you want to protect it. And on the right, we do love our country, and I'm not just saying that. Data shows that conservatives are twice as proud to be Americans than their liberal counterparts. That's a massive gap. Conservatives obviously love the people who protect our country. Conservatives love our police and our military even more than their own movement. Pew Research did some polling on professional favorability and found that Republicans rank members of our military and our police top of the scale, much higher than actually other Republicans. Democrats, on the other hand, view themselves and college professors more positively than they do police. Yes, conservatives love our fellow Americans, especially the hardworking ones. In one of the greatest generational political shifts in our American history, this election, the Republican Party became the party of the working class, the muscular class, the blue collar, and the forgotten. That's why in the 2020 election, the richest counties in America all voted for Joe Biden, and the poorest, most rural counties voted for Donald Trump. Conservatives love our coaches, our small business owners, the American who takes out our trash or pours us a beer at the bar. We care about all of them. They are us. We want them to have their businesses open, their children in school, and to live a happy life. And that's not just hyperbole. We conservatives do something to make life better for people less fortunate than us. Statistics show that conservatives are far more generous than their liberal counterparts. That's strange. It's always the left who's going on and on and on about income inequality. There is income inequality, by the way. Did you know that conservative households make less money than liberal ones? Considerably less. But we give 30% more to charity than liberals. We have less, but we give more. Okay. According to Philanthropy Roundtable, there are triple the number of conservative families in the heaviest giver category nationwide than liberals. Conservatives are more generous because we are more moral. Conservatives believe in God. Almost twice as many conservatives are certain that there is a God than liberals. That belief makes conservatives better neighbors. Love thy neighbor. That's a big commandment. The data shows that conservatives do love thy neighbor. The top 10 most deadly cities in America are populated and run almost exclusively by Democrats, often for generations. The most bitter, angry, and corrupt politicians in our country often come from these dark blue areas. They represent them very well. Red states and cities are almost always statistically safer, healthier, friendlier, have better health care, and much lower costs of living than blue states and cities. That's why the elderly tend to retire in red states, according to Investopedia. A much better life for Nana, away from Antifa attacks and Andrew Cuomo's nursing homes. It's not just Nana who wants a better life in red states. The data shows that red states have more married families and more children. People in red states are having many more children than people in blue states. Men, did you know that science can predict who you voted for by your fertility rate? This is real. A report from the Institute for Family Studies found a direct correlation between voting for Trump and communities with high fertility rates. According to the study, this is science, guys. This is real science. Pro-Biden counties had a fertility rate almost 25% lower than most pro-Trump counties. That's alpha right there. You really do have a much higher chance of being born if you are in a red state. Abortion rates in blue states are twice that of red states. It's kind of tragic, but it is true. All of this leads to the big one, happiness, the pursuit of it. That's a promise made to us as Americans, and conservatives embrace that promise. We live happier lives, period, end of story. Study after study in country after country finds that conservatives are actually happier than liberals. Think that because of an election or because of a political victory, something that happened in the day that might change. No, that's untrue. Actually, the happiness gap is something that's known, and it has existed scientifically since 1972 when it was first studied. Conservatives often rate 10 to 20 points higher in happiness and satisfaction with their lives. The Journal of Research and Personality summed it up nicely in a scientific paper entitled "Conservatives Are Happier Than Liberals, But Why?" The answer? Political ideology, personality, and life satisfaction. According to the study, conservatives are happier because, and I quote, conservatives expressed greater personal agency, more positive outlook, more transcendent moral beliefs, and a generalized belief in fairness. These differences accounted for the happiness gap. Conservatives embrace a culture of life, happiness, marriage, children, generosity, love for your fellow Americans, and pride in your country. That is the conservative worldview, backed up by science. So believe the science, guys. Trust in the science. Whether you are unborn or pushing 90, it's a better life for everyone when you are around conservatives. That's why we have had thousands of MAGA rallies over the last 6 years with no violence. It's why every conservative and decent person in America disavows riots, obviously. There was never a question. Anarchists and criminals do not represent you or me or our movement. We've been very clear about that. And the data shows that. It's right there. Want to know who actually defends domestic terrorists? Ask a Democrat to disavow Antifa. Do it. Try it. Want to know who actually defends insurrection? Ask a Democrat to disavow the nation state of Chaz. Empty liars. They won't be able to, because they are not serious people with morals like conservatives. They're clowns. These clowns will always try to call you a terrorist, a racist, a sexist, whatever. We don't care anymore. I mean, we know the truth. Conservatives are the happy people with families and faith and children and values, and the libs are the unhappy people. Science actually literally shows that, who will do anything for power. Because it's all they have, sadly. And it's very sad. You should feel sorry for them. You should pray for the other side. No social media banning or sham impeachment will change who we are. We are the happy people, 75 million of us. And guys, remember, it's okay to be a conservative.